trusting in God. That's our theme for today's devotion. And to understand that just a little bit more, we're going to take a look at Psalm 62, verse 8. Let's see what the psalmist writes. All you people, trust in him at all times. Pour out your hearts before him. God is our refuge. As I was thinking about this passage, getting ready for this devotional, I was thinking about when it's easy to trust in God and when it's hard to trust in God. Trusting in God is really easy when the days are going exactly as we've planned them. Life is going well. Things are prosperous or at least unchanging. We feel good. Our health is good. Our emotions are good. Our spirit's in check. Our family is getting along. You get what I'm saying. It's easy to trust God in those moments. It's harder to trust God when life gets really chaotic, right? It's harder to trust God because it seems as though we need to handle things ourselves. We need to take care of it. I'm going to put on my big boy pants and just tackle the day. Solve problems left and right until it all gets back to some form of normal. A word we've used a lot lately. And sometimes that's how it feels right now, is that we're doing so much on our own to try to get back to life as normal. But maybe we've forgotten that there's a time when trusting God is even harder than when life is chaotic. Trusting God is hardest when the way forward is not the way that seems most logical. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to trust God when everything's going right. It's hard to trust God when it seems like everything's falling apart. And it's hardest to trust God when God is calling us on a way forward that feels wrong. That feels like it's not the logical way forward. That feels like it isn't going to make things better. But I can tell you out of experience that God is not wrong. It only maybe seems that way when we decide that we're going to put our own adaptations on God's way forward, and it ends up going off the rails. Big surprise, right? This psalm reminds us that we are to trust in God at all times. Not just when it's easy, not just when it's hard, and definitely not just when it seems like our way is the way forward, but even when it doesn't. The psalmist uses important words that we might pass over. Pour out your hearts before him. It's almost like he's saying, give your life over to God. Give that life essence, your heart, the thing that keeps our bodies beating in a very literal way, give it over to God. Give our lives to God. God is our refuge. God is our way forward. And so even when it feels like the way forward just doesn't feel logical, if it's God's way forward, then it makes sense. Then it works. And so trust in God at all times. And like the scriptures tell us also, lean not on your own understanding. God sees the big picture. God sees where we're going. So let's follow and let's get there. Amen.